All right, thank y'all for joining. This is Chris Lindsay here with Fresh Start Homes and Good Faith Realty. I have some very special guests with me today, some childhood friends that are also investors, and they also invest in this area as well. So I surprised them. They came in to check me out at the office, and I said, "Hey, what if we get on camera and we can share some of your story and some of your investments with the video?" So they was gracious enough to do so. So they hadn't had any prep time or anything. They're just gonna share the story with you. So I greatly appreciate it. But we have Derrick and Lisa Lyles with us today, and like I mentioned, they're investors, and I'm gonna let them tell you about the name of their company and how they got the name of that company.
All right. So the company actually started in August. We started in August of 2020. The name of our company is Talan Properties LLC. And the name of the company actually was an idea of my husband. And Talan is a combination of our two cities. I'm from Talladega and he's from Anniston.
Gotcha.
So it's a combination. And Genesis is the first book of the Bible. So it's the beginning.
Oh, okay. Okay, I like it. But why did Talladega have to have more letters in the name than Anniston? I'm just gonna throw that out there. You know what I'm saying?
Because you gotta rep too fast. That's Talladega.
So Lisa 1, Derry 0. Right? We're gonna go with that. But what got y'all into investing? Because I know y'all got careers and things. So what made you say, let me add something else to the list of the careers and the family? Let's throw investing in there.
Well, I'm a registered nurse, and Derrick, he's in the Army. He's an Army officer, and he mentioned it that he wanted to do real estate investing, but with his busy schedule and career of being in the Army, he felt like he didn't have the time to actually invest into doing real estate. But because I knew that was a goal of his, I wanted to make sure that it came to fruition. So he gave me the name, and we started running from there. So a little bit of more pushing and encouraging, right, and just letting him know that we could do this together. Gotcha. And he did have the time. So
was it a scary thing at first to make that leap? Because I mean, you can say it and look at properties, but if it's a good point, you got to make that leap, put some money up, start making some phone calls. Was that a scary thing for you? What you think?
No, I wouldn't say so, because Derrick, he's a financial person in a relationship. That's what, he's good with numbers. So I trust his judgment in dealing with that. So I let him take the lead as long as he can show me the numbers and how it's going to work and we're going to benefit from it. But we know that there's going to be some risk in it, in any property, because you don't just go in and, everything is always what you see. So sometimes there are some surprises, but I trust him. So
as for me, I don't think it was. We knew it was going to be some risk that was going to be involved in it, but we also knew that we looked at the risks and kind of tried to evaluate as much as possible. And with me, I like to consider myself somewhat a calculating person, and so we kind of calculated the risk prior to us going into it. My wife has been kind of mentioning it to me for a couple of years anyway, mentioning going into real estate. And then something just kind of clicked last year. She brought it up again, and then we started moving forward with it. Next thing you know, she comes in with the tax
LLC.
ID.
Here we go.
The tax ID number.
I just started our business.
And here we are. So yeah.
Okay. You must know Derrick. I don't know, because I took math with Derrick in high school, and I ain't calling no numbers person.
That's true.
He has improved. He balances our finances.
Gotcha. So I know. So okay. So I know you said y'all run your numbers and make it make sense, so it's not that scary to you. But one thing that I haven't done that would scare me that y'all are doing is that y'all are investing from out of state. So y'all have been living outside of Alabama in different places, but your investments are here in this area. How does that feel? Because that's something that, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not even comfortable doing.
So I would say, obviously it is difficult, but I think we have been able to reach out to good people that's back here in the state. Yourself being one of them, I think as a de facto mentor. My brother, Darryl Lyles, been another de facto mentor, giving me that calm that I need and trying to guide me through this process. And then also, we've been fortunate enough to find a great contracting team as well. So before we even invest in a home, They go out, they give us the skinny on what's going on. They look at the home and they're like, Mr. and Mrs. Lyles, this is what's going on. I think this is a thumbs up or this is a thumbs down, and they give us their honest assessment. And over time, we've grown that trust with each other, and that plays a big part. And I would say the last part, I think, is the invention of the smartphone. We've been able to really just bridge the gap 800 miles away, and being able to stay in contact via emails, via Duo and other video platforms and whatnot, to be able to really see the investment that we're making. Like I said, with our contracting team, so that really gives us that more of that peace of mind that we need.
Right.
I'd say the biggest factor was that finding a good realtor. So when we found the realtor, it made it easy because he understood that we were out of state, so we needed him to be our eyes. And having a good contractor, and definitely having my father, who actually blessed us with our first. With our first investment, he actually did the renovation work for us, and that was his gift to us for us starting the business. Right. And he's been doing it since he was, doing contracting work since he was 18 years old. So we trusted him, and we knew he was going to be our eyes and make sure everything was taken care of.
Right. I mean, that's important. Having that team having that team you can trust is important, because even when I started investing, my biggest nightmare was having a contractor screw me over. So I done dumped all this money in, and I'm left without a property I can do anything with. So what got me across that hump to be able to do something was a family member. I mean, I had an uncle that I trusted. He knew what he was doing. And if he didn't know, he knew somebody who knew. But he was able to tell me how major and minor things was, because I could not at that point walk into a house and really tell you if subflooring was bad or much of anything for real. I just knew the cosmetic stuff. So I was super careful, but having that trusting family member who could do work was important. So you gotta emphasize that. You gotta have a trusting team and build a relationship with a team that you can continue to grow, because that's key.
And if I can, before you move forward, I definitely want to shout out my father-in-law too, because I kind of left him out as well. But I can't say enough of what he's done to kind of get this business on the ground for us, and being able to free his schedule. He has other projects on the side as well, and being able to free his schedule and be patient with us and going out to these homes to help us view them as well. So that's really paid dividends for us.
So I've seen some of your videos on your Talan Genesis website. It seems like it's a family affair sometimes when y'all go in and get stuck on. Y'all have all kind of people in there.
Our very first investment property definitely was a family affair, from my dad to my mom. She goes in and she helps to clean. She's painted. She's done so much. His parents, did yard work with pressure washing. It's been a lot. So we are definitely grateful to have our family. And that's why it was important for us to start in Alabama too, because we knew we would have that support system versus, us trying to start where we're stationed in Florida. We would never have that type of support system. It's definitely meant a lot to have them to assist us in our first home.
Cool. So how many properties y'all got now?
Total of 4. Well, I should say it like this: 4 under the business, 5 total. We do have one that we purchased as a permanent residence when we were stationed in El Paso, Texas. That was back in 2011, and we've rented that ever since 2013. And then we've opened the business, like my wife said, back in August of 2020. And then since then, we've purchased 4. We have 1 in Anniston, 2 in Gaston, and 1 in Birmingham.
Gotcha. So y'all rolling. I mean, from August to now, you've gotten 4 properties.
Yes.
That's rolling. Because when I first started, my goal was, all right, let me get 2 a year, right? And then, like, as you get in it, it just naturally grows. So as deals come, you don't want to let them go just because you said this over. You got to take them. So y'all coming in running full speed.
Yeah, we're trying.
Okay. Y'all ran across any major issues yet? Because that's what scares a lot of people into taking a step. They're scared they're gonna run across some nightmare tenant or some nightmare construction person or project or foundation falling apart. Y'all ran across any major issues?
So our last one that we recently closed on this month, I'll preface it by saying it wasn't necessarily an issue because we knew about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
But We have a tenant that's already tenant occupied, which was extremely appeasing to us, and brought us in to make this deal, and also the price of the home that we were able to get it for. So we thought the tenant's been there about, I think, 4.5 years or so. We recently found out she's actually going to move on and find another place, and that's due to the fact that the home did not pass a certain inspection. We went into that knowing that. We knew that we were going to put a new roof on it and make some other critical repairs to the home. But we were also tracking that if we did that, the tenant would stay after we made those repairs. We just found out that that's not going to be the case. So, I guess that would be our horror story if that is a horror story. So now we're gonna make we're still gonna make the improvements and the renovation to the home, but us thinking that we had that guaranteed income coming in, we got to start the process over and get a property manager, and then also get a new tenant.
Yeah. I mean, from my understanding, that might end up being a blessing in disguise, to be honest with you. Because once you do get it fixed up, if the rent was under market, you can immediately go up to a market rent.
Yeah.
That's true.
And have your own tenant in it because you don't know what kind of background checks they did. So
that's true.
Yeah, if that's the horror story, I'd take that any day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that's where we're at right now.
That's where we're at.
We stay at that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, but to be honest with you, I've been a part of multiple investor groups, and the people that did their homework on the front end, like you said, you knew about it. You had an inspection, right? So I mean, you knew about it. But the people who do their homework on the front end, their worst case scenario story isn't bad. You know what I'm saying? I didn't ran across anybody that does their job the right way. Gotcha. They ran across a real horror story. Gotcha. So I mean, that's one thing I love about real estate is the worst case scenario. If you do your job on the front end, it's not that bad. All the worst case scenarios I know about, they probably made a little bit of money, not as much as they thought they were going to. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? So, gotcha. Like I said, I'd take that any day.
That makes sense. And to your point about the market value of the rent, that's spot on, because we are undervalued right now, and we are looking at being able to increase that going forward. So yeah.
So right now y'all got 4 buy and holds, 4 rentals. So is that your current investment strategy, or if a deal comes along on flip, you're gonna jump on that as well?
So that's a conversation in our house right now that's going back and forth. So my wife is of the mindset she wants to go ahead and look for a flip. Myself, I'm wanting to keep buying and holding, and then I want to eventually get into the flipping. So I don't want to shut that down fully, but I do want to get into more buying and holding first to have more leverage, if you will, from that standpoint, and then going into the flipping.
Yeah.
So we're still talking about that.
and when some people ask me about which one should they do or which one should they do first, that kind of thing, a lot of times I tell them that a lot of times the deal is going to tell you the story, right? Because you're going to always look for deals. But there may be some deals to where the number works for a rental, but it's not really in the flip area, right? Mm-hmm. And some of them that if you buy it as a rental, you're in too much, but you can turn around and flip it. So sometimes the deal tells you the story. I mean, you just be prepared for both, and when it comes, you just take advantage of it. Gotcha. So, for sure. And that's how I got my first flip, because I was just doing rentals. I hadn't really thought about flipping, but I was going to put too much money. I was going to pay too much money for what I can get in rent for the numbers to make sense. But I was like, I think I can put a little lipstick on this thing and sell it, and that's what ended up happening. So, so that's what you got right now. What's your goal, your long term? What do you want Talan Genesis to be 15 years down the road when y'all looking at your company?
You want to go first, or you want me to take
I would say, well, definitely. With me being a nurse, I always want to include some part of nursing in whatever I do. So it's always been a dream of mine to have my own assisted living facility.
Okay.
So having my own assisted living facility or either a group home is like part of our goal, because he knows that when we met, that's what I was talking about. Like, I'm going to have my own assisted living, one day. And I think it would be great, because now that we're in real estate, we'll understand what we're looking for as far as the property, and be able to run our own numbers on how it's going to make sense for us to manage, and how big do we actually want to start and grow with an assisted living or a group home. So that's part of it. And what's your part?
I mean, for me, when I look down the road, you said about 15, 20 years down the road, I hope to have at least 45 or 50 doors that we can look back and that we've turned into quality rentals, because we, part of our thing is we want to also not just, buy a house, but we also want to make it a home for someone. So we want to turn it, and I know a lot of companies do that, but we also want to make sure we make that our mantra as well, and make sure that we actually turn quality rentals out, and then also past that, where once you're past the remodel phase and you got the renters in, but we also want to be looked at as, real estate investors that also look out for their tenants past when they initially sign for the keys, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I would say long term, hopefully looking at 45 to 50 doors, and then just continuing to just make the business better going forward. And we do want to go into flipping at some point, but again, we'll talk about that down the road. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the rate you going now, them 40, 50 doors, you're gonna blow that out the water. Y'all might be there next year. But no, I mean that's pretty dope though. I mean, y'all been in less than a year, and how y'all have grown. So, what advice would you give somebody that's looking to get started and want to grow, but just been kind of sitting back doing their homework? What advice would you give them about how you got started and how they should get started, or how they should jump in?
If it's truly something that you want to do and you can see yourself, being successful at it, you definitely have to take a leap of faith. And that's what we did with no experience of knowing how real estate goes, no course, no class or anything like that. However, I do a lot of research on YouTube and things like that, but we didn't take an official class yet. So another thing is that you gotta be in it together. Like, this was his goal, so I knew that, so I just latched onto it, and you gotta bring it to fruition. We're one, so what he wants, and I know it's good for our family, then we're gonna go after it. So definitely take that leap of faith.
I would say do your research, but don't let the research stifle you at the same time. It needs to be a balance. I think we were talking earlier and used the term analysis paralysis. So don't run into that, in my opinion, as far as letting that stall you for 2, 3, 4 years or whatever the case may be, and you're continuously just doing the research, but you're not doing any work towards the goals. So I would say it needs to be a balance, and then also just understand, yes, it's going to be a financial obligation that you need, obviously, but don't let the financial obligation scare you, because I think a lot of times people think real estate and we think, hundreds of thousands or $50,000 dollars or whatnot, and that we need that money up front. But there's other ways that you can get creative and you get skin in the game and to be able to get into this and to make this dream a reality.
Right. And that's one important point I'm glad you brought up. Most people feel like you do have to have a bunch of money to get into real estate, and there's strategies and ways to that you do not. I mean, there's some strategies you don't need hardly any money to get in. And that's the biggest question I get is, how can I get into real estate with little or no money, because I don't have a whole bunch of money sitting in a bank account. So I think that's an important point. And that's a word I'm going to try to get out. I'm going to try to put something together to share with the public on how you can get into real estate with little or no money. I think that's a message that needs to get out there for sure, because I think a lot of people don't understand. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I'll be trying to put something together and inviting whoever wants to come to it to share that message.
That's good.
Yeah. And you brought up the family, so I see the family in the videos. How does it feel for you to be able to have your kids see you guys investing in yourselves and growing a brand, growing a business? How does that building something that they can take as well?
That means a lot to have, something that we can pass down to our children. We're trying to create generational wealth, and it starts in the home, because we weren't taught about credit and generational wealth and things like that in school. So it's our job as parents to make sure that they understand what that looks like and how you do it. So we have twins, they're 10 years old, Devin and Dylan. Then we have a 3-year-old, which would be 4, which is Daxton, in a couple of days.
Gotcha.
So keeping them involved now and letting them understand and teaching them how this all works is very important, because one day it's going to be theirs.
I mean, to me, it's a dream come true. I got 3 boys, and that's our legacy right there.
Right.
So, that's more of a legacy than me, what I can give to them financially or anything else. And being able to show them this and them to be able to see this at a young age, and then, just being able to leave something for them, is huge for me. So I kind of leaves me a little bit speechless, but I would just say it's just, I think, a dream come true. And I just think, I look forward to what the business has in store for us. And I look forward to them getting older and them being to really be able to, integrate themselves into the business and understand, and me being able to teach them more about how this works.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's major, because most of the generational wealth is passed through real estate. So I think what y'all are doing are great, and that's why I encourage anybody who cares to get in it if they have that passion for it, because you could be building a legacy, like you mentioned, that'll be helping for generations to come. I mean, to be honest, it wasn't too long ago before fair housing, it was hard for us to even get property and real estate. So I'm glad y'all doing it. And I think it's important that we continue to get the message out of the impact that can be had and the benefit for generations that could be had just through real estate. So for sure. So share your social media so everybody can follow y'all. What social media y'all got going on?
We are on Facebook at Talan Genesis Properties. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Our Instagram, I haven't actually activated the account, but it is there, so I'll go ahead and do that.
The only thing I would say is we'll just continue to put out things on social media. Hopefully, they're engaging for you. We try to just stay involved and put things out, good content to make sure that it grabs you, and then also hopefully we're inspiring someone along the way, as same as we were inspired by some of our friends and family.
Yeah, I mean, I advise the public to grab any information you can, YouTube, Facebook, grab that information, take it in, and do something with it. Definitely follow. I got Good Faith Realty, 100khomes.com. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. I got a personal YouTube page as well, personal social media. Follow all of it, subscribe, and then we can all build something together. Because I'm of the opinion of, we can do a lot more together than separate.
Absolutely.
I don't buy into the competition thing. If we all grow and get bigger, then one day we'll collaborate on something huge. So definitely.
Exactly.
And one more thing, you can follow me at Bella 256 Boutique for all your custom wigs and extension needs.
Definitely, don't leave that out.
Yes, I know, right?
Exactly. The only thing, I'm sorry. The only part I got is I just want to say, Chris, we really appreciate you for bringing us into your business here in the Good Faith Realty. Look forward to doing business with you going forward. And y'all have a great operation going here. And again, just appreciate you taking time out to sit down and discuss some things with us, give us some advice going forward, and then even just doing this interview conversation.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep good new content out there, because I think it's important. I think it can help a lot of people. So yeah, we're gonna keep doing it. And I appreciate y'all time as well. So definitely follow all those social media, Instagram, subscribe to the YouTubes, and thank you for your time. Have a good day.
Thank you.